so we get to somewhere around 2017, and you start becoming involved with an accelerator called Startmate, right? And so I think originally as a mentor, right? Could you talk a little bit about, I guess maybe generally, for people who have no idea, which is probably a lot of people, what is an accelerator and what kind of companies would utilize it and benefit from it? And then how does it actually look in Australia versus potentially America? Could you talk about that? And then maybe some of your experience?
Yeah, sure. So an accelerator is a time-bound, it's basically it couples an investment into the company and a time-bound, usually around 3 months worth of assistance to literally accelerate that business from where it was to where it wants to be. Yeah. And usually what happens on the back of an accelerator program is the founders would then go on to raise their next round of capital. So most of the time, the founders are on a VC trajectory or a venture capital trajectory. Yeah. The most well-known one in the States is Y Combinator. There's also one called Techstars. Here in Australia, there's Startmate. Techstars is in Australia as well. So I joined as a mentor. Most of the mentors are founders or exited founders. So there's a bunch of help you get from the community. Plus, in Startmate, it's mentor backed. So all the money comes from the mentors. And then we choose a cohort of whatever, 10 to 15 out of the
you guys get to choose it. Wow, that's cool.
Well, there's a process. The Startmate team runs it, but there's a process of elimination, if you will. And you sort of bubble it down to the top N, where N is 10 to 15, depending on whatever. And then those are the ones that go into the program, which sort of pop out the end in 3 or 4 months' time. Yep. I started there. And the reason I started with Startmate in 2017 is I'd been working as a scout for Blackbird, which is one of the earliest modern VC investment companies here in Australia. Yep. Their 2012 fund, and they didn't have anybody in Melbourne. And they put together a program to help. There was a handful, I think it was 6 of us that were kind of scouting for deals for them. 5 of them were founders they'd invested in, and me, because I was hassling Nicky a lot on Twitter, and he came and visited me one day and said, "Hey, do you want to help us find some founders to invest in?" I'm like, "That sounds like a great idea." But then they then hired a partner called Nick Crocker, who is based in Melbourne. Yep. So like, hey, we're not doing this scout program thing anymore, but why don't you go do Startmate? So that's sort of how I became involved there.
Yeah, right.
And is that something that's we've seen like incubators and accelerators as well. So is there any room for the kind of, and I guess you can probably mesh them both into and call them accelerator anyway. But do you have any room for the idea generation side, or is it more scouting those ideas initially?
It's a little bit of a function of time for me. So I used to run a thing called Founder Institute, which is an incubator. Like, this is like, come to us when you've got some ideas, and over the period of the course, you'll whittle it down to one, and then you'll improve that one to the point where it's right at the beginning. Gotcha. So an incubator is a little bit like, I think I might know what I want to do, but I'm not quite sure. An accelerator is like, I've got this thing and I want to go fast, and I want to like double down on it to like, I've already come with my idea and I need to accelerate versus I've got some ideas and I need to whittle it down and then sort of get to the point where I might go into an incubator. So, and for me, as my portfolio grows and the older companies become, the younger companies become older companies, and they get big and interesting. Personally, for me, I don't have as much time for hey, I've got 10 ideas, can you help me find the best one? It's just like, my skill set is more applicable to fewer, more advanced. And also because I'm leading Tractor, I sort of point the absolute vast majority of my time into the Tractor portfolio, which are all more advanced companies, and that's sort of, more applicable nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.